Shalom Akim, Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Wakwadash, double honors and salutations to those apostles of greatness from the well. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. And Shalom to the Akim, preaching the gospel of Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, sincerity and truth, try to fall on us to the earth. Yeah, it's bitter times we're living in, man. You know, it's bitter times, man. It just, it gets to you, but it doesn't overwhelm you, right? So you just understand that, Esau's kingdom is basically falling apart. So you have on the screen two so-called police officers here in the state for lovers, the state of Virginia. They went over to D.C. last week, on January 6th. They entered the Capitol building, and then, they got identified by the pictures they posted online. So it just shows you, man, that Esau's about to experience some heartbreak in these last days, man. Because Lord Yahushua has already talked about Satan being divided against himself, and Esau had to turn his so-called federal police on them and so-called federal agency against them with charges. Now they got to deal with misdemeanors. So I'll play the video real quick, and then I get some scriptures.
1 week after that deadly riot, the fallout continues. Two Rocky Mount police officers who were there now face federal charges. This is a story we've been following very closely. 10 News reporter Shane Dwyer is live this evening outside of the federal building in downtown Roanoke. So, Shane, you sat in on the hearing just hours ago.
Yeah, Lindsay, just wrapping up within the last hour, they were both given a $15,000 unsecured bond. We learned today that the federal government wanted them to have to wear GPS ankle monitoring bracelets while out on bail, but the federal judge here in Roanoke felt that that was not necessary because both of these men are police officers and military veterans. Now, they are banned from being anywhere in Washington, D.C. throughout the course of this, except for their court proceedings, and also from taking part in any protest anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, so their so-called constitutional rights has been suspended, so I guess that they won't be able to go online and say how they really feel about the situation they've been subjected to. Yeah, so that's going to create more animosity, and that's the way of the beast. That's exactly what the elites want. So they're going to make an example of whoever they want to get get in the clutch of their hands, and it's all a setup, and that Project Megiddo is a good example. Details all the so-called groups that the elites, the so-called New World Order executives want to go against, whether it's so-called police officers, so-called military personnel, whether you call yourself a Christian, call yourself a Muslim, call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, call yourself a 5%, 3%, a Boogaloo boy, moms against drunk driving, I believe in the Constitution, all that stuff. Constitutionalists, they're coming after. The serpent is upset, he wants to maintain structure, structural control over the minds of the people. So it just shows you how much they're in desperation mode. So the book of Matthew chapter 12 verse 26 tells you that, what Lord Yahushua said, I'll start from verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand, right? And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And that's a good question. So there's nothing Esau can really do, to stand in these last days, when the Lord Yahushua has already coming for his destruction. So no matter how much Esau tries, to scare the people into being cowards or whatever, it's not really going to work because the Lord is going to put the spirit on the people to fight against the government. These police officers are going to turn on each other, and the military turn against each other, the people will turn against each other, and there's going to be race wars, and then the poor people, the middle class, will turn against the rich, and then the rich will go hide in their bunkers, with their so-called private security or their so-called military detail, with that, whatever detail they get, maybe Secret Service, maybe police officers. It doesn't really change anything because it's going to get ugly. All right. And then it says, you know, Dublin's on his way out. That's exactly what the scripture has said.
While out on this bail. Now, this is the photo that went viral that we've sure you have seen. This is Officer Jacob Fracker and Thomas Robertson posing inside the Capitol's crypt the day of the riot. It was initially leaked online, and then Robertson posted it himself, saying they had been let in by police and did nothing wrong. Now, Capitol...
That's where you have the graven images of the so-called, Edomites that were doing the bidding of the elites. So it just shows you, man, that folks always fall for the okie doke, that think that they're fighting for democracy and freedom, but not really. They're not really fighting for freedom. They're just fighting to remain under the control of the serpent. They want to have more freedom under the serpent, but the serpent is tired of, unnecessary weight. So he has to break loose. All right. So the book of Proverbs chapter 6, verse 16 tells you that, let me see, Proverbs chapter 6, I will start from verse 16. It says, "These 6 things doth the Lord Yahweh Bashem shall hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift into running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren." That fits the house of Edom. That fits the elite to a T, and there is no remorse, for their actions, right? So you just gotta, understand how the Lord has laid out the groundwork for these elites to be ensnared in their own actions, and their judgment is coming quickly. All right. So there's nothing they can do. All they gotta do is just fight it out, however they can.
Police cited not just the photo, Facebook comment thread in which they both admitted to being in the Capitol. The two face federal misdemeanors, knowingly entering or remaining in restricted grounds, and violent entry and disorderly conduct.
Yeah, so this is the same thing they always play. With Jake, they want to, ramp up charges, but, give you a ticket so they could hit your pockets, give you a felony so they could ruin your your means of moving up in society. That's how these Edomites are. So, and the judges don't care because they know that they have to maintain the status quo. If you're right, you're right. If you're black, get back, and if you're in the middle, hang around. That's how these elites are. And they pass on that code of operation to their peons on this circuit, the circuit courts. That's how the game is played. And when folks get disenchanted with the system, they begin to, be upset, and they can no longer stay in their counties. They got to drive all the way up to D.C., So you just understand that This said the cops were what? The guys are police officers and military veterans.
On Capitol grounds. Now, the United States government is not pursuing jail time in this, but both men are also required to give up their firearms until this matter is taken care of. Their next court appearance is January 19th. Live.
Yep. So they're both police officers and the military veterans.